In this course, we are trying to deal with business ethics. So before we start, I think we have to make clear what is ethics. Ethics is a subject which deals with rightness and wrongness of an action or a decision. So whether the particular decision or an action is right or wrong, this is what is the subject matter of ethics. So business ethics, then it is very easy for you to understand. Business ethics is concerned with the rightness and wrongness of the decisions and actions in the business field. So there are in moral theology or theological ethics can be divided into two mainly. For example, fundamental moral theology and special moral theology. This fundamental moral theology is concerned with fundamental principles, theories of moral theology. So moral theology is a theological discipline which deals with rightness and wrongness of an action or a decision in connection with the theology or in connection with our faith. So there are secular. So suppose if we analyze, we can see secular ethics or ethics from the secular perspective and ethics from a religious perspective. So this is a fundamental question, that why should we speak about a Christian ethics, or what is the relevance of a Christian ethics, or what is the relevance of a moral theology? Why should we speak about it? Because we believe in Jesus Christ. That is the reason we speak about the moral theology or theological ethics. Normally, the people ask that whether we need to be a believer in order to be a moralist, or in order to have a moral life, is it necessary to be a believer? And even an atheist also can lead a moral life, What is the reason? Because there are different sources for moral theology, or there are different sources for theological ethics. So reason is the one of the source, and reason is common for all, believer and non-believer. Everyone can depend on reason. That is the one of the sources. Then as a Christian, as we are concerned, so we are believers, and as we concerned, we have Bible, magisterium, tradition, church fathers, etc. are considered as sources of moral theology. So our primary source is Bible. That's why we speak about the Christian ethics, because we believe in Bible, and our primary source is Bible. And moral life, then we can conclude that a life in accordance with the Bible, or a life in accordance with the word of God. That is the moral life from a Christian perspective. So that is the distinctiveness of Christian morality. The distinctiveness of Christian morality. And since I am a believer, I have a special reason to be a moralist. Since I am a believer, I have a special reason to be a moralist. And a non-believer can also lead a moral life, and he or she depends on his or her own reason. But as a believer, I have Bible as a primary reason to be a moralist, and that is the distinctiveness of Christian morality. So these are the basis of morality, and especially in basis of moral theology. And we divide moral theology into two: fundamental moral theology and special moral theology. Fundamental moral theology deals with the basic theories, principles, values, etc. But when we come to the special moral theology, it is dealing with special subjects or special areas. For example, business ethics, environmental ethics, social ethics, etc., etc. So that's why we now speak about business ethics. So I think, are you following me? Is it clear? I would like to hear from the
Yes, Father, it
participants.
is clear.
Yes, it is clear.
That's what is clear.
Okay. So then I think I have only 1 hour, so I will try to summarize the subject. Then I can share with you the what we call these slides. So if you have some further questions, you can contact me. We will discuss it again. So I will finish it with 1 hour. So I will go a little fast. So please follow me. And if you have some interventions in between, you can ask, no problem. So that is why we speak about business ethics, because business ethics is part of our moral theology, because it is part of a special moral theology. Or okay. Then when we come to the field of business ethics, normally people used to believe that business and ethics are contradictory terms. Because suppose when we speak, it is very clear. Business is concerned with self-interest or profit. So suppose if someone is investing certain amount of money in business, of course, the particular person is concerned with the profit and he needs profit. Otherwise, he cannot run the business. So since the business is concerned with the profit and self-interest, and ethics is concerned with one's duty towards others, or what should I do in a particular situation, or my duty towards the society, towards others. This is the main subject or main concern of ethics. Then normally people think both are contradictory terms. It won't go together, or it is not possible to speak about a business ethics, because business is concerned with the self-interest and ethics is concerned with our responsibility towards others. And so normally people believe that it is a contradictory terms and it won't go together, and it is absurd to speak about a business ethics, etc. And you know, the Adam Smith, and he says that business is for maximizing owner value, the shareholders value, maximize. Then, but actually, then the question, what is business ethics, or is there any possibility to speak about business ethics? So when we try to define business ethics, we can define business ethics from a narrow perspective and from strict perspective. According to this view, business, the purpose of business is to make profit, and where self-interest is the guiding principle. But this is generally we see the purpose of business. Suppose if someone is investing money, so normally it is for increasing the profit, and he or she wants more money. That's why investing the money, etc. But we have to remember one thing: that business is an activity which is happening in the society. It is happening in the society. The particular person cannot or should not, or the businessman should not ignore the local people or people of the society, because business is an activity which is administering or which is happening in the society. So ethics is concerned with other, because suppose if I am doing an action, whether my action is right or wrong. So I am speaking about action, decision, ethics, etc., because I am a social being. When there are two or more persons coming together, there only we can speak about ethics. If I am all alone in the world, then I can. So, what is the meaning of ethics? So, ethics is normally concerned with the other, concerned with the other and in the society, etc. So, business should have ethics, because business is also functioning in the society. However, business is a social activity of the people who have mutual trust, shared understanding. So business is not merely an instrumental action for economic goals, but it constrains an intrinsically economic ethical practice. It is an economic ethical practice, business, because it is functioning in the society. It needs the trust, and it needs the mutual understanding, and it needs the mutual care. So business has not only an economic goal, it has also an ethical goal because it is functioning in the society. Business is functioning in the society. Then, so we can define business ethics as business ethics is the discipline of applying ethical principles to business relations to determine what is right or wrong or good and evil in those relations. So when you analyze, business has various relationships. As I have explained to you earlier, business is something that is happening in the society, not the outside of the society. It is something happening in the society. So there are different types of relationships that we can see in the business. For example, suppose if someone is starting a business, so a company started in a society. So there are shareholders, there are stakeholders, there are employees and consumers, etc., etc. So shareholders and stakeholders, internal stakeholders are there, external stakeholders are there. Internal stakeholders means the employees or other the board of directors, etc. They are all considered as internal stakeholders. External stakeholders, local people, consumers, etc. So normally there are different types of relationships. Relationship between employees and consumers, relationship between business and external stakeholders or local people, then the relation between shareholders and the consumers. So there are so many types of relationship inside of the business and outside of the business because business is functioning in the society. So we can consider business, the firm or a company as a person, a juridical person existing in the society. And this particular person has different types of relationships. So we need business. We need ethics. Yeah? So we should have an ethical principles to regulate the relationships of the business. A company or a firm cannot do whatever the particular company needs. Yeah? Company has to respect the consumers. Company has to respect the local people, external stakeholders, etc., etc. Or an organization, or maybe some of you are working in a hospital, and hospital can be considered as an moral person, or hospital can be considered as an organization. So hospital is functioning in the society. So when you suppose if you are a nurse or working in a company or IT professional, etc., when you go to the company, there are some codes of conduct in the company. And the company cannot do as the company wishes. No, this is not possible. Because there are some rules and regulations to function. And when you analyze the organization or a company or a business firm, the ethics of the company or a hospital, etc., we normally use, in order to describe the ethics, we use the term corporate integrity or organizational integrity. So what is the organizational integrity? That is the business ethics or organizational ethics, or medical ethics. This is also part of the business ethics because this is and we call it in another name, medical ethics or medical humanities or bioethics. Bioethics is concerned only with the life-related issues. Business means it is concerned with a little more wide. Okay. So this is the definition, you don't forget. Business ethics is the discipline of applying ethical principles to business relations. Business have relations. That is why we are speaking about ethics. Business relations to determine what is right or wrong or good and evil in those relations. So there are, as I have explained, there are various relations in business, such as between managers and stakeholders, between owners and internal stakeholders, between managers and internal stakeholders of a company, etc. There are different types of relationships. So stakeholders, you have to understand stakeholders. There are internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders means the employees, managers, and board of directors. All are the internal. External means the external, the local people, consumers, all are external stakeholders. Okay. So there are two types of approaches in business ethics. Two types of approaches. One is a legal approach. So what is a legal approach? Legal approach means it is just establishing a code of conduct in corporate culture and structure. Code of conduct means the rules and regulations which are necessary to function an institution. That's a code of conduct. If you are working in a hospital or IT company, of course, the hospitals and IT companies must have a code of conduct, guidelines to act. So, business ethics means implementing a code of conduct. That is one of the approaches. That approach is known as legal approach. And I have a different opinion about it. I will explain to you later. So legal approach, establishing or certain codes of conduct and asking people to follow the codes of conduct. Then this business ethics is over. That is one approach, and this approach is known as a legal approach. Then second one is a value-based approach. Value-based approach means drawing values based on globally consistent programs that equip the employees with an ethical awareness that allow them to make proper decisions. That means it is a formation of the moral self of a person, or in other words, we can say it is a formation of the conscience, or moral self, or making a person regarding an ethical awareness, creating an ethical awareness. That is a value-based approach. One is legal approach, and another one is value-based approach. So, value-based approach is more concerned with the character of the person. Character. Who am I? What is the essence of the person, or the totality of the person, character of the person? That is more important in value-based approach. And there is a debate what we have to apply in business world. Whether legal approach or value-based approach. When we speak about this, we have to keep in mind in Catholic moral theology, there are two types of thinking. One is ethics of doing. You know what is ethics of doing? So what I am doing. So whether this action is right or wrong, or are we doing an action in accordance with the rule? That is ethics of doing. Another one is ethics of being. Ethics of being means what is my totality, what is my character. And now the moral theology is seriously considering both ethics of doing and ethics of being. Jesus also says that our actions are coming from inside of the person. Who am I? What is my essence? What is the totality of a person? That's very important. So earlier, before the Vatican Council, the importance was ethics of doing, because we proposed plenty of rules, code of conduct, and whether the particular person is following the rules and regulations. That was the main concern before the Vatican Council. But after the Vatican Council, things have changed. The importance is given to both legal approach and value-based approach, or ethics of doing and ethics of being are equally important now in moral theology. Just like that, in business ethics also, these two approaches are important. And business ethics takes seriously both approaches, and we cannot say that legal approach alone is enough. No. We need both legal and value-based approach in business ethics. And I did my PhD regarding this. So from Louvain University in Belgium. And so when I am doing my PhD, the legal approach was in the top position. So many of the business ethicists from secular world, they were arguing in favor of legal approach. So basing on the Vatican Council, So I was trying to make a link between legal approach and value-based approach. That was my argument. And the legal approach was concerned with code of conduct. And my argument was this: of course, we need a code of conduct, but even though we have a code of conduct, we need the integrity of the person in order to interpret and apply the code of conduct in each situation, because context and situations are different. The situation of the business situation of India is different, or if you compare the business situation of America and India, totally different. So even a company, for example, Google or any company, Infosys or any company, or they may have a code of conduct, but actually the code of conduct is interpreting and applied, or interpreted and applied by a particular person. And we need the integrity of the person, the totality of the person, because the person can interpret in accordance with his perspective. Best example, in the Palakkad, Plachimada, we had a Coca-Cola company, and the company established there, and the company so had permission to take water from the ground, and as a result, company took the water from the ground, and as a result, the local people suffered from, what is the scarcity of the water, scarcity of the drinking water. And the local people demanded, please, you stop it, or you reduce the consumption of the groundwater, because we don't have enough drinking water. Our sources of the drinking water came down, so please consider our interest. There are codes of conduct in the company, and the company did not take care of the interest of the local people, and the company concentrated on the interest of the company. Then the strike started. Then at the end, you know what happened. So actually, we have to take care of the interest of the local people also when we interpret and apply the codes of conduct of the company or any business. We cannot neglect the interest of the people. Suppose if someone is what we call supplying polluted, or what I can say, in order to create profit, if you mix some what we call ingredients or something wrongly in food, for example, then that is something wrong, because the particular person is not considering the interest of the consumers. Consumers, they have also rights. Okay. So legal approach, value-based approach, both are important. Please keep in mind. And in the moral theology also, these two approaches are there. But we can see that now after the Vatican Council, we are giving equal importance for ethics of doing and ethics of being. So the three domains of business ethics. The issues of the business ethics can be reduced into three categories. The three domains of business ethics. First one is systematic issues, then corporate issues, then individual issues. So what is the systematic issues? Issues related with the systems in which business is done, such as economic issues, political issues, legal issues, social issues, cultural issues, capitalism laws, etc., etc. So the system, the issues related with the systems in which business is done. For example, suppose if someone is doing business in India, in Indian business world, we have a custom of giving gift. Suppose if we are giving gift to the managers or the consumers, in some other culture, it is considered as corruption. But in India, it is considered as a matter of respecting the other. So there are a lot of problems in the systems in which business is done. So there we have to do right actions, and we have to avoid the wrong actions. That is one of the domains of business ethics. Then second one is corporate issues. The morality of activities, policies, organizational what we call structure of an individual company, responsibility of individual for corporate decisions, etc. The corporate issues, organizational policies, the mission of a company, the structure of a company. So the issues related with the company, the issues related with the system in which a company functions, then issues related inside of the company, corporate culture, structure, policy, mission, etc. Then individual issues related with the individuals within a company. For example, morality of decisions, character, actions of managers, employees. So issues related with the individuals within a company. So these are the three domains of business ethics: the system, then the corporate, then individual. So then in the business ethics is also functioning in different levels. First one is macro level, then company level, then individual level. Just like what we have said now. The three domains we have already explained: systematic issues, corporate issues, individual issues. Just like the level of functioning of business ethics, macro level, then company level, individual level. So in macro level, sometimes called as systemic level, ethics are defined and influenced by the wider operating environment in which company exists. That is what I have explained. Giving prize or giving a gift is something normal in India, a matter of respecting the other. But in some other cultures, it is a matter of corruption. So the macro level ethics. Then company level. At a company or a corporate level, ethical standards are embedded in the policies and procedures of the organization and from an important foundation on which business strategy is built. Company level, of course, every company has a structure and a culture. Culture means the way company functions. Structure means it is something, or the what we call the organizational structure. So in the structure and culture of a company, we can see a codes of conduct, and basing on the codes of conduct, the company is functioning. That is whether the particular person is deviating from the codes of conduct, then that action is something wrong. If not deviating, the action is something right. Then individual level, since the business are run by people, the ethical standards of individuals, the business are an important consideration. The factors such as peer pressure, personal financial position, socio-economic status, all may influence individual ethical standards. Managers and business owners should be aware of this to manage potential conflicts. Because individual level, there's a possibility for conflicts of interest. Suppose if one person is working in a company and he is taking the decisions, and he may get some kind of strong influence from outside in order to take some decisions. And the particular person may suffer from economic problems. Then the conflict may be like this. I may get, or the particular person may get some economic advantage. The only thing he or she has to make this decision for a particular group of people or another company, etc., etc. Then he or she has to make some compromise in ethical standards. That is a conflict of interest. The particular person has an interest, and outside there is a pressure, and the company has a codes of conduct. That is the interest of the company. The particular person should take the decision. There is a possibility always in the business to emerge the conflicts of interest. The conflict of interest between employees and external stakeholders, then managers and employees, then shareholders and the employees. So there are possibility for emerging of the conflict of interest. When there is a conflict of interest, then the first of all, the particular person has to take seriously the codes of conduct of the company. Then second, the particular person has to seriously consider the interest of the all. Company has an interest, employees have their own interest, external stakeholders have their interest. Then when the individual is taking or when an employee is suffering from the conflict of interest, the employee has to consider all persons, all the interest of the all, then look into the codes of conduct and he has to make the right decision. And selfish interest should not function there. Suppose if he is influenced by his own interest, then it may lead to the corruption. That is why some of the companies, the employees, the scam, fraud, corruption, bribe, etc. All these things are active in the business world. Then now we follow. The following point discusses the need of business ethics in today's area. Why we speak about the business ethics today? First one is, what is the need of business ethics? First one is survival of business. Survival of business. If a company does not follow business ethics, it will have a bad reputation in the market. Therefore, its survival will become very difficult. First reason is the survival of the business. Ethical business will have survival or easy for the survival in the society. So we call it as a brand. Some brands, they have very good value in the market because the ethical background. So the reputation is something comes from, or is that comes from, reputation always is coming from ethics, right actions, etc. So survival of the business is the first thing why we speak about business ethics. Second, protecting consumer rights. Business ethics safeguard right of consumers such as health and safety, proper information, and choice, etc., etc. Protecting consumer rights. When suppose if someone is running a supermarket or a production of a biscuit or something, you take an example of the production of a biscuit. We speak about the ethics. That is why in the packet they have to give full information. Ingredients they have to explain in the packet. Whether they made use of some preservatives, they have to mention in the packet. And if they are not mentioning correct information, then it is something against the ethics of the business. Then that is considered as that's considered as a evil act or something from the what we call from civil perspective, secular perspective. It is an action that can be punished in the court. So the proper information, health and safety. So protecting consumer rights, that is another important important reason why we speak about business ethics. Then third, safeguarding employees and shareholders. That is also very important. Safeguarding employees and shareholders. Business ethics protect employees and shareholders against unfair practices and exploitation. So shareholders sometimes maybe so suppose there is a big corruption or malpractice in the business. Of course, the shareholders may be cheated or they may lose their money. So the protecting the right of shareholders and also employees. So we need business ethics. Then fourth, developing strong relations. Business ethics result in good relations between the society and the business. It will help regulate sufficient supply, more profit, and eventually better economic growth. Strong relationships may be created as a result of the ethics in business. Strong relationships. Even in a company, the relationship between the employees, managers, or relationship between shareholders and employees, or the board of directors and employees, all this depends upon the way the relationship is building. So ethics is an important element in it. So developing strong relationships. So what is the result of it? Result of it is regulate sufficient supply, reducing the corruption, reducing the pollution and the polluted. So then as a result also, the profit is also increased. There is also more profit. And as a result, eventually a better economic growth. We know that in Viljam, there was a strong struggle between the fishermen and the local people and the company which makes the development of the port there, and it was a strong strike. Yes, actually, what happened there, the relationship damaged. So it is a duty of the company always keep good relationships. Then how it happened? It happened because of the conflict of interest of the local people and interest of the company which creates or which build the port. So conflict of interest, relationship destroyed or damaged or broken. As a result, the strike, then cases, then it creates a lot of problems. So business needs ethics. Then only it functions smoothly in the society. Then fifth, importance of labor. Good business and work ethics help retain employees through proper salaries, job security, better working conditions. This helps a business to be more stable due to workforce loyalty. Importance of the labor or employees protection, proper salaries, job security. Exploitation is not possible if a company or a firm follows strict ethics. How can exploitation is something contradictory to the ethics. So this is also importance in connection with the labor. Then what are the objectives of business ethics? Objectives. So there are different level of the objectives in business ethics. For example, personal level. So at a personal level, the policy should be set that not to misuse the properties of others or of organization, keeping the promises and extending the mutual help, not to seek quick gains and not to indulge in politics to gain power. So personal level, policy should be set in business. The first objective of business ethics means there are employees and shareholders, stakeholders in the company or in and around the business. So there should be a policy and ethical policy regarding the behaviors or dealings of persons, those who are involved in the business. That's a personal level. Then internal policy level. The business organization should follow fair practices in dealing with employees and other stakeholders. That is, objectives is also something connected with the need of business. Why we should speak about business ethics, that we have already discussed. So objectives of business ethics situated around personal level, then internal policy level, then societal level. The social concern, like no discrimination, concern for the no discrimination should be a prime concern for the business organization. That is societal level. Then stakeholders level. So business ethics functions in personal level, internal policy level, societal level, and stakeholders level. Then now it's the important part. Now, this is, I think, you have to keep in mind. This is more important than the rest of the part. So the scope of business ethics. So the range of business ethics extended to all business activities. Then I will explain. First one, ethical evaluation is part of everyday business activities. In the business field, this business ethics is connected with everyday business activities. For example, hiring the employees, firing the employees, choosing suppliers, setting prices, making the contracts. So all these activities we need an ethics. From the Christian perspective, we have a business ethics centered around Bible. Bible has given a lot of values for business world. So from as we concerned, we are Christians, and Bible is our primary moral source. So suppose if someone is asking you what is the source of morality in a business, then of course we can say that There are different sources. Suppose a Christian is running a business, then he has to follow the Bible in his business dealings along with the other sources. Other sources means the reason, social contract, code of conduct of the business. Then if you are a Christian, then you have to follow Bible also. Bible magisterium also in your business dealings. For example, hiring the employees, a selection of the employees. You should have the nepotism is wrong because it is against the ethical values of the business. These ethical values of justice we can see in the Bible also, and we can see in the magisterium. There are social teachings of the Catholic Church. So I'm not going to all the documents, and you have to read it. There are, I will give you the bibliography. There are documents regarding, for example, regarding the business development. Pope Francis has already wrote Laudato Si, and there are very clear references regarding the concept of business development. Then, and we can see the Christian values in these documents. That values we have to apply in business field. So ethical evaluation is part of everyday business activities. Setting prices. Suppose the cost of production of a thing like 50 Indian rupee. So of course we have to take a marginal profit. There is no problem. It is ethically right, but we cannot set a price with double profit or something like that. If it is the cost of production is 50, of course, take a normal profit, then the company can fix the price. Then privacy and employee management, that is also very important. A company has to respect the privacy of the employees. And now, everything is controlled by artificial intelligence, and data is uploading. And so the privacy is very important. Privacy is very important. When the company make use of the data, company has to ensure the employees or give assurance to the employees that their data is kept in a private mode, or it is the privacy and employee management is also is a big concern of the business, and it has to be done in a proper way. Then ethics is basically meant to protect the vulnerable, because the company is functioning in the society. So a company has to respect the vulnerable, local people, and ethics is basically meant to protect the vulnerable. In business, there are power imbalances, power imbalances. For example, the relation between buyers and sellers, employers and employees, business people and local community. So power imbalance is there. Best example in Viഴിഞ്ഞം. Yeah. So in one side, the big company, they are constructing the port. In the other side, the local fishermen, the local people. So power imbalance is there. So, and the ethics is meant for protecting the vulnerable, those who are not able to fight against a company. So every company should have an ethics in order to protect the vulnerable. In business, the relation between people is not as a family members. Because of these relations, this relationship has bargaining, marketing tactics, competition, etc. So ethics is necessary in the business world, because in business there are so many types of relationship between shareholders, stakeholders, relationship between the shareholder, between the employees and external stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. So there are different types of relationships, and this is not like a family relationship. It is a relationship of bargaining, marketing tactics, competition, everything is there. So we need ethics. So ethics is necessary. Ethics is basically meant to protect the vulnerable in business world. Then business is affected by extra economic concerns. Business has, suppose if someone is saying business is only for the profit, then we cannot accept it. So business has always an extra economic concerns. Business has not only economic motive, but also social, political, cultural, technological, etc. Business is a subsystem of the society. So business social performance is also a concern of business. For business, this will help to meet the business to meet this goal. So business is functioning in the society. So the building of the society is also part of the business. It must be the part of the aim of the business. Of course, profit is one of the goals of the business. There's no doubt. We need profits, but at the same time, the development of the local people, development of the society, then the local people should have possibility to work in the business when a business is established in a local community, in a local in a place. So so this extra economic concerns. That is why when a company is starting to function in a society, in a particular place, company will offer certain percentage of work from the local people, or this some employees may hired from the local people, because they have a responsibility towards the local people. So local people is also cooperating with them, and that's why the company is functioning in a particular society or particular place. Then the claims of shareholders are very important in business ethics. So the interest of the stakeholders may be in danger. So, for example, the shareholders, they invested the money and they want to increase their share, and they need profit, and they can argue for it. There is no problem. But it doesn't mean that exploitation of the consumers, exploitation of the local people. So in order to regulate the interest or claims of the shareholders, we need business ethics. We need ethics in the business. Then fifth, a firm's relation to its employees opens a large area for ethical reflections. One of the major issues that employees face is the discrimination based on sex, race, nationality, religion, etc. Hiring, pay, promotion, termination are also issues. A company cannot terminate an employee suddenly. There should be a procedure, ethics. First, the particular company has to give notice, then a period of waiting, then receiving the explanation, etc., etc. So, a firm's relation to its employees opens a large area of ethical reflection. Discrimination. Suppose a business world, suppose there is a kind of discrimination based on race or nationality, etc., then it is something unethical. Then sixth, the range of business ethics includes the employer-employee relationship. It includes the union of employees. Of course, union is allowed in the business world. Union is also good in the business world, but there should be a kind of ethical practices. They cannot demand by making use of their union a kind of unethical salary. There should be an ethical vision in the functioning of a union of employees. Then suppose in the company, the employees notice their kind of corruption, then the employees can make it public, or can inform to the superiors or inform to the board of directors that a particular what we call this misuse is going on or corruption is going on, etc. In order to do that, an ethics is necessary in business. Seventh, the relationship of a company with its customers is part of business ethics. And customers are really buying the products of the company. They are really the supporters of the company. So company has to, or business has to give justice to the customers. For example, suppose the polluted or suppose they are not revealing the information in the packet of a product, and the product contained some preservatives which is very bad for the health, then that company is doing something wrong. It is unethical. Then again, eighth, business advertising and promotional tactics raise ethical concerns. Wrong advertisements are unethical. Advertisements should be, of course, advertisements are necessary. Or advertising is necessary, but it should include the ethical values of honesty. That's very important. When for example, when a company is advertising something, if there is no honesty in the advertisement, then that company is doing some unethical activities, and it is not ethical. And if a Christian, a believer, is running a company, he has to be honest in his or her all the advertisements. That's very important. That's another what we call area of business ethics. Then the relation between business and environmental destruction raises many ethical questions. Environment. Suppose a company started to work in a place, the environment has to be protected by the company. Company cannot destruct the environment. Polluted water, air, dump sites, etc. Should companies create natural friendly products? Company has a responsibility. Once I have read in the newspaper that in India, I don't know in the foreign countries, some companies simply put outside, this the wastewater to the rivers. That is something wrong, ethically wrong. Company has a moral responsibility to take care. Company has a moral responsibility to take care what we call the environment, or the protection of the environment. Because company is functioning in the society, company is also a part of the society. If company is not taking care of the environment, then company is a irresponsible juridical person. And it is something wrong. Then again, business done in a globalized world pose the ethical issues of transnational relevance. I think this is not so important. Okay. Then the increasing use of technology raises ethical concerns. Technology, information technology, genetically modified food deserves special attention. So these areas, even the use of the artificial intelligence. Of course, we cannot think about a world without artificial intelligence or without AI in the coming years, but it is a developing area, and I am pretty sure that by few years, the influence and the presence of artificial intelligence become something normal in every companies and societies and so on. But then there are ethical concerns. Yeah. For example, when we make use of AI in AI, we are giving data, and based on the data, the AI is functioning. But how far we can give data, the privacy of the data, all these are very much concerned ethically. Then now we move to the characteristics of business ethical decisions. There can be different ethical solutions to a single business problem. Ethical decisions depend on a given situation, individual perspective of a concerned people, finally the ethical moral model or theories which one uses. So, of course, but how can we take a ethical decision in business world? First one, we have to respect the code of conduct of the business. Second one, the practices of the business, policies, mission of a business, etc. Then the integrity of the person or manager or employer who is taking the decision. All these are very important in a business when we take the business decisions in a business world. Suppose the person is seriously considering the code of conduct, and the person is seriously considered the interest of the all, and he analyzes the situation, and if he is taking a decision, then it may be the right decision in the business world. Then it does not mean that the business ethics is absolutely subjective. The particular person is taking a decision. No, it is not subjective. It is subjective. At the same time, business ethics is objective. What is the objectivity of the business ethics? The objectivity of the business ethics is the code of conduct. And everyone can see code of conduct. That is already established. Code of conduct. That is the objectivity of the business ethics. And subjectivity means who is interpreting the code of conduct. That is the employer. So business ethics is both subjective and objective. Objective is the code of conduct. Okay. The impact of the business deal is not only limited only to the stakeholders, but also to the entire company and even to the nation as such. Most ethical decisions represent an actual balancing of the cost and benefit, profit and responsibilities. So code of conduct is there, but at the same time, the employee, the managers, the board of directors, they are taking the decisions. Okay, then now we move to the compatibility of between profit and ethics. Profit. So many people think that ethics and profit are mutually exclusive. But that is a wrong position. Profitable company must be unethical. Suppose if someone is saying it is wrong. In reality, ethical practices creates goodwill and reputation to the companies, and it leads to profit. That is the reality. If a company is, suppose if a advertisement of a company has the honesty, of course, the reputation increases, then profit also increases. So, ethics and profit, it goes together. That is, both go together. That is the reality. Without profit, a company is a burden for the society because it fails to give remuneration and social responsibility, etc. And it may fail to meet the needs of the customers. So we need an ethical standards to attain profit. That is very important. We need business ethics in order to attain profit. Business is always concerned with the profit. Then suppose if you think what is the role of church in it? So I am sure that it is a master's course. So now what I am doing is I am only introducing you the scope and wide range of business ethics. Then now you have to read from your perspective, especially in the light of Christian social doctrine. But how can we speak about a business ethics from Christian perspective? All the values, for example, honesty, transparency, then respecting the other. All these values we can see in the Bible and our magisterium, etc., etc. These values are also we are applying in business world. So we have a Christian background or a Christian basis for business ethics. Okay, then always keep in mind profit is not something wrong. It is something ethical, but we can attain profit with the ethical standards. If there is ethical standards, automatically profit increases. That is what we see in the business world. Then concept of social responsibility. When you analyze the business, always we see the term social responsibility. You know what is social responsibility? Business is a part of the society. So a business enterprise should do business and earn money in ways that fulfill the aspirations of the society. They have to respect the society. The social responsibility relates to the voluntary effort on the part of the businessman to contribute to the social well-being. I don't know whether you are aware about it. Every company has a certain percentage of money for social responsibility or social uplifting of the people and so on. And they invest that money as a part of corporate social responsibility. Most of the companies invest that money for the educational purpose of the village people or local people, etc., etc. So businessmen make use of the resources of the society and earn money from the members of society. So they must do something for the society. That is the concept of the social responsibility. And the social responsibility is part of the business ethics. And suppose the company is not doing the social responsibility, then that company can be considered as an unethical company, and the company may also be punished from the secular, because secular rules are also in favor of corporate social responsibility. So these are what I did with this 1 hour is just an introduction of the business ethics.